1997, Oasis released their third album, Be Here Now. Though the record would go on to sell more than 7 million copies, the music critics described it as a major disappointment.
Step off the train on alone at dawn, back into the home where I was born.
I thought it was a little bloated, overly psychedelic. If you're going to be a little pretentious, you need to have something to say. and they didn't have anything to say.
I just thought it was funny. You know, some bands won't sell 7 million albums in their whole career, will they?
Where were you while we were getting high?
With the release of their third album, Be Here Now, Oasis were flying high. And once more, the tabloids were given a field day.
There's people in the Houses of Parliament, man, who are bigger heroin addicts and like cocaine addicts than anyone in this room right now.
All the people in the House of Commons were on heroin. Yeah. One of my better moments, I have to say.
Drugs, it's like getting up and having a cup of tea in the morning. And, you know, until people realise that, then when I say it's tough, innit? Do you want a line?
Parliament was not amused.
I don't know of one who does take drugs, and if he does know of one who does take drugs, he ought to report that to the police because that person is breaking the law. If he doesn't, he ought to shut up.
Well, in my own stupid, drunk little way, I was trying to make a point that all the people that you think are respectable, you know, upstanding citizens, you know, are not. People have this fictitious thing about drug takers sitting in darkened rooms and they're all skinny white people with spots on with needles hanging out their arms. No, they're not. They're lawyers, and doctors, and airline pilots, and police officers, and you name it.
Noel's wild allegations backfired as his own cocaine problem became front-page news.
Oh, I'd stay up for days, doing loads of coke, drinking, anything, just do anything. Because that's what you do, innit? It's your divine right as a rock star to be like that, you know? You don't want lots of kids coming backstage and you sat there drinking mineral water. You know, what would they think? You know, you've got to be lying in the corner, halfway into a coma, you know, with a bottle of Jack Daniels.
In early 1997, Oasis stopped long enough for the brothers to get married. Liam to actress Patsy Kensit and Noel to publicist Meg Matthews. But love did little to calm the Gallaghers. On February the 23rd, 1998, aboard a Cathay Pacific flight from Hong Kong to Australia, the Gallagher brothers caused their own mid-air turbulence. Passengers and crew were introduced to the rock and roll mindset.
What Liam generally does when he gets on an airplane is he just starts being annoying, like he starts throwing things at, you know, various members of the group.
You know, those warm things come out of the microwave. I think it's just a few of them getting thrown about. I think one of them landed on some woman's head.
So I pointed this out to him, and an argument ensued. This is before the plane's even taken off, right?
I've seen this tasty little, like, scone getting passed through him, and that would, like, jam on and out. I thought, I'm having one of them. So I said to the lady, can I have one of them, please? She's like, said, no, you can't. And I said, look, you know, you silly cow, you know, I'm asking for a scone. So she wouldn't give me one, so I told her to go away and that, and before I'd slap her and that. I got a bit carried away and stuff, and then she went, oh, go and get the pilot. I said, bring him out here and I'll slap that. Lost it and that, because I really wanted one of these buns and that.
The whole commotion must have lasted for no more than 20 minutes, maybe half an hour maximum. Then after that, they were so, you know, drunk that they fell asleep.
When they stepped off the plane in Perth, the press was waiting to pounce. 24 hours later, Liam was still raging at what he believed was a grave injustice.
And he told me to shut my mouth and, like, carry on. I'm like, which is fine, because I like that.
Who told you to shut your mouth?
Some panhead who wants stabbing with a pickaxe.
That's enough. That's enough, lads.
Cathay Pacific didn't press charges, but Liam was banned from the airline for life.
I don't give a flying about Cathay Pacific, because I'll tell you, kids, I'd rather walk.
I feel bad after I've said it. Maybe, you know, maybe sometimes I think, you know what I mean, but I feel bad at the time. You know what I mean? So then, otherwise I'll just get stressed and break out in spots and that.
After touring and recording for 5 years, cracks were beginning to appear, and the band were in need of a break. Depressed and exhausted, going home offered little comfort to 30-year-old Noel.
Nothing in my life seemed to be going the way it was supposed to be, you know what I mean? Didn't like the band I was in, didn't like the music I was making. Wife was getting on my nerves.
Noel continued to binge on coke and booze. Then one night in the autumn of 1998, he was crippled by stabbing chest pains. His wife Meg called a doctor to the house.
And he just said, well, just stop taking drugs and you'll be fine. And I was going, well, that's not the answer that I wanted to hear, I'm afraid. I wanted to hear something else, you know. He said, well, that's just the way it's got to be, you know what I mean?
Heeding his doctor's advice to stop taking drugs, Noel retreated to his home in the country and kicked cocaine cold turkey style.
You better get on your knees and pray. Panic is on the way.
Just went to bed. Stayed in bed for a couple of days, and I was actually surprised how easy it actually was. It was no big deal for me. I just stopped doing it, and that was the end of that.
For the first time in years, Noel was drug-free and undeniably happy. By the beginning of 1999, he had new songs and was ready to take the band back into the studio. Noel was determined to come away with the best album of their career, so he demanded Liam clean up his act as well.
He's out of control and he's pissed, you know. So we said, look, you know, we're not going to go and do the record unless you stop drinking.
Liam wasn't prepared to accept Noel's ultimatum until his wife Patsy started applying pressure.
And she turned and she went, look, you know, it's about time. I understand what he's saying. And they're totally right. And it's about time someone told you.
Liam reluctantly agreed to stay sober. For the first time in a long time, he and Noel were bypassing the pub for the studio, and they expected the rest of the band to follow suit.
And when we go out there, everyone was supposed to be on the wagon and not go drinking while we were in France.
But in less than 2 weeks, Noel and Liam watched as original members Paul Bonehead Arthurs and Paul Giggsy McGuigan walked away. The reasons for their departures were unclear. Maybe they'd had their fill, but that's one thought Noel doesn't entertain.